protect the internet, I was very proud of the fact that I came out with the highest rating of protecting the internet. And of course that is very important in a campaign like this. I am predicting that we will raise a significant amount of money, but it won't be competitive with those who are owned by the special interests, by the drug companies and who knows what else, the military-industrial complex, because they have a lot at stake. And they're going to not raise 10 or 15 million, they're going to waste 20, 40, 60, $100 million, whatever is necessary. So if we are to be competitive, it has to be done in a much more creative manner. And fortunately, we do have the internet, and it's been helpful so far. Hopefully, it will continue to be helpful. The most important thing I think that you can do as individuals is to communicate with us at our website and get others to do it, because we will need to do the funding raising in that manner. And one reason why I don't worry about matching dollar for dollar is that large campaigns are like big government. They get very bureaucratic and very top-heavy. They pay huge salaries and they're very efficient, and most of the money goes to television advertisement. But what if it just turned out that most people are getting their information off the internet and not off the 3 major networks? Maybe they'll just be throwing their money down a rat hole, down the drain. So if there is a secret weapon out there, it has to be the internet. And we're going to do our very best to make use of that. But really the test of the campaign is to find out whether the freedom movement has made a significant enough progress to represent a viable idea, one that we can approach and be competitive and actually have a chance of winning something like the presidency. And that we don't know. I, for one, am one that will not brag that I am the best candidate or the best speaker, and that I'm not even sure I'm the best candidate you could have. Right now, I happen to be here by a lot of other people encouraging me. And I'm not sure we can put the organization together because there's always shortcomings, and we've had criticisms already because it's made up of individuals who are imperfect. And we're certainly not going to have tens of millions of dollars, but we might be able to raise 10 or so million dollars and be competitive. The one thing that I'm absolutely convinced of, and that is the message of liberty, the freedom philosophy, is the only thing I really care about politically. The rest of my life is dealt with on a personal basis, personal decision, and it's done through the belief in family and friends and neighbors and churches to solve most of these problems and not depend on the government. That message is powerful. We were introduced to this many, many years ago. It was supposed to be protected in the Constitution, but the challenge today now is whether or not that will be restored, whether we will have respect for the rule of law and really go back to the original intent that people can take better care of themselves than the government. And I don't have faith and confidence in big government, and I think they are a threat. Today, there are threats to our liberties. We have had foreigners attack us, which was very significant. But if you understand that, we would know exactly what to do to diminish those threats. But right now, today, I think the greatest threat is from our own government. The attack on our personal civil liberties, whether it's through the war on drugs, on the war on terrorism. The fact that today now, first, our government's official policy is preempt war, start where you please, not even have it been attacked. And also the fact that the attack on the American citizens is incessant. The fact that we can be arrested now and be considered a potential enemy combatant and held without due process and without habeas corpus. Very, very dangerous. The fact that we can be watching every single thing we do without warrants is a very dangerous trend. And these issues are worth fighting for. So regardless of what the outcome is next year, which we don't know, I believe that what happens, it's worth this effort, because if we are complacent and sit back and say, forget about it, it'll take care of itself, it's not nearly as bad as you say, I think that is a surrender that I don't want to participate in. This struggle is worthwhile, and hopefully the remnant of individuals who believe this way is a lot larger than any of us dreamed of, because we don't know where they are. We have found more now than I ever dreamed we would, and everybody has an organization, everybody has an email list. But if we can bring everybody together and get unified, maybe there will be some surprises. So I hope we can say that, and I thank you very much.
Questions?
Okay, I'm
I
ready.
got a question. I got a
Where
question.
you go?
I have an important question.
Oh, okay.
This is my wife, ladies and gentlemen.
The question
you got
is,
my
make
question.
the check payable to,
Ron Paul 2008 PPC.
thank you very much.
PCC.
This is Lou Moore, who's on the staff, and he's one of the ringleaders that helped helped encourage me. And badgered me into it and said, it's very worthwhile.
Thank you.
So, he's part of that conspiracy.
The Bush administration seems to have absolutely no respect at all for the concept of separation of church and state. And I'm thinking about things like faith-based initiatives and things like that. I'm wondering what's your position on that, and what would you do to sort of, if it's your position, to untangle the mess that George Bush has created in entangling church and state?
Well, you know, some of those questions are like, how are you going to untangle the mess of Social Security system? It's, to be honest, you just can't turn a switch, throw everybody out in the street, and some of these things are complex. The laws have been passed. They're unconstitutional. We shouldn't be doing it. But that's about 90% of everything the federal government does. So you just have to look for your battles and do your best. If you can do it through regulation and deregulation, I think we should do it.
What's your position on separation of church and state?
Well, obviously, there is to be a separation. There's to be no official involvement of the federal government in our religion. But in the same sense, the federal government has no authority to write any law regarding religion. So therefore, if you're here in Arizona and if it's a public place and somebody happens to get up and say a prayer, the federal government has no jurisdiction over that. So I would just say, the Congress, I love the First Amendment, the Congress shall write no law. And that's the way it should be. They should write no law regarding our First Amendment rights or the Second Amendment or whatever. But this faith-based program of giving money to the churches, I think the churches are downright foolish for taking them because they've sold out. But it isn't so much whether the church should get that money or not. Nobody should be getting that money. We shouldn't have those programs. I mean, the program should be repealed.
You have a position on immigration that we should end birthright citizenship. But I'm concerned if we end birthright citizenship, then we'll be in a situation like in France where immigrants don't really feel like they have a stake, they don't feel like they can really become French. So I'm afraid that if we do it here, immigrants to our country, legal immigrants, will still feel like they're outsiders, they won't really feel like we accept them as Americans. Can you address that?
Yeah, but you know, it was the 14th Amendment that was supposed to establish this birthright citizenship. And I think there's a controversy on the interpretation. But I don't think it was ever meant to say that you could have a deliberate program on the borders where all you have to do is step across the border, go to the emergency room and get free medical care and put your children on welfare. So I'm not for that. I would end that. I think on the immigration, the main goal should be to get rid of the incentives for people to break the law to come here. So I don't want amnesty. I don't want people to be rewarded for coming illegally. I don't think they should get citizenship. I mean, under our current law, as an obstetrician, I was obligated to be in the emergency room within 30 minutes or I broke a federal law and deliver an illegal immigrant who became a citizen that went on the welfare rolls and who were most likely to sue me. And they were the toughest cases because I had no medical background on them. And I don't think that's a good idea. And I don't think you have to be anti-immigrant to have a policy of denying benefits. I don't think there should be a federal government mandate on the states that you provide free medical care and free education. Because they know amnesty is coming, unfortunately. It came in the 80s, it's going to come again. So what is the incentive? Do they want to participate in a work program, come and work and take their money home and help the families, which is not a bad idea. But no, the incentive is, aha, an easy road to citizenship. I'm gonna bring my family, and if they get sick, I know where to